Second.
Motion second, approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, minutes approved. First item of business, everybody would please join me in, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eric Thompson, 45. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Eric.
Dear rights over there.
Never gonna happen.
That's how, 45, that's how much we're gonna beat y'all Saturday.
No comment.
No, I shouldn't have said that. I'm a good Alabama fan. All righty. Seems like forever since we've been here. It's good to see everybody. Virgil, you got it first today.
Before we get started, I wanted to introduce everybody to our newest property maintenance inspector, Mr. Samuel Rex.
How you doing?
He's joined the team. He'll be working with us to help continue on with what we've been doing. So, all right. So our first one is 1330 26th Street. She has made some great progress here. She started her siding, got about 2/3 of the way done on the siding. She has brick on site. She's going to do a brick facade on the front. Probably going to start it within the next couple of weeks.
That's all right.
So we want to ask for 60 more days on this one. Hopefully, within the next 60 days, she can finish up the outside and we can withdraw and let her just continue on with the inside.
That'd be awesome. Great job. She's doing awesome. That's great.
She possibly be here. I did contact her. She should be here.
Okay.
All right, so the next one we have is 932 through 934 39th Avenue East. This is the mobile home trailer park. They have progressed along pretty good. They've removed all trailers except for the red and gray one there. That's the one they've been storing their demo equipment in. That's the last little bit of the last trailer that they've got to pick up, and then they'll start demoing the red trailer. And that would be the last one on the property portion of their demoing this one piece by piece. They're not using equipment as far as big equipment. So we'd like to ask for 60 more days on this one as well to give them a chance to get that last trailer off and get this one off our board.
So what happens when the trailers are completely gone? Is it still a trailer park with
No,
just
sir. This one
newer
is
trailers?
we no longer will have a trailer park in this location. Once we condemned the trailer park, it took their ability to be a trailer park off the board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank goodness.
So
It's been there a long time.
Oh, long time. Thank you.
and that's all we have for today.
Any questions for Virgil? Welcome, and again, welcome. Thank you. Mr. Mills.
All right, good afternoon, Council and Mayor. We have 3 applications tonight. The first one was introduced the last time. It was Pop Strokes, Tuscaloosa. DBA Pop Strokes is going at 680 Harper Lee Drive. They're applying for a special retail more than 30 days. I talked to the attorney. They said they will have a representative from Pop Stroke coming tonight. Yes, sir.
I spoke with him as well, and I'm excited for those of you, just kind of circle December 15th. There's going to be a soft opening at that time. It will not be the official ribbon cutting. I'm meeting with the marketing director and their assistant 28th and 29th. So they are pushing forward, and the grass has all been put in now, and it's really starting to look like a golf course.
All right, the
Fake grass.
second application I have is Social Oak Nursery LLC, DBA Social Oak and Nursery. They're applying for a retail beer on and off premises, retail table wine on and off premises. They're located at 5318 Rice Mine Road Northeast.
So what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
Talking to the owner. Yeah, but he said that today, and he'll be here tonight. Basically said they just want some additional for their customers to have experience while they're shopping and
I
stuff.
spoke to Mr. Barksdale. For full disclosure, I buy firewood from him.
It's his partner, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't this Jason's partner?
Jason's Barksdale.
I mean, it's not him though, is it?
It's him, I know. He'll be the one here tonight.
Okay.
And so, I spoke to him the other day. They set up an area for clients when they come in, he does a lot of construction, landscaping and things like that. So when they come in, it's no different now than all these boutique places that want to offer wine or beer while they have clients come in and look at it. It's, it's just part of the concierge type services that everybody wants. And it's actually a really nice area and what he's done over there. So he'll be here tonight to talk about it.
It's a nice business.
Yeah, he does a really, really good business and does a great job. And, I'm just somebody who's used him for years. He does a great job. So
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy getting to talk to him tonight.
And I talked to him this morning. I thought he said his partner was coming tonight.
His partner's coming.
His partner's coming. I thought Jason was coming. He texted me and asked for the address, so.
Well, I
He
talked to
did me
Mr.
too.
Barnett
You must not
today.
believe what I said. He's a great guy. He really is.
Oh, yeah.
Is his business going with the ice cream truck still? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea on that one.
I don't know. I understand. He's got a lot of things.
I like to have a good, Pinot with my firewood.
Absolutely.
You one
Makes
on
you-
bandit over on the side and get your.
I always
kids
buy
one.
more of that. You buy more that way.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes he might recommend a good red with a cedar. I mean, so, I think let's go all in.
Places don't want one.
He's done really well. I'm proud of him.
He's worked really hard.
All right, and my last applicant is for Roofs Incorporated, doing business as Roof Cafe and Bistro. They're going to 2324 4th Street. They're applying for a retail beer on and off premises, retail table wine on and off premises, and we're still going in the old Sage juice bar spot.
Anthony, where is it?
Is that on my side or is that on?
It's in Timerson.
It's in Timerson, yes,
That's
sir.
on my side.
In Timerson under the overhead on the big sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
It was Sage.
This is probably a bad representation, but think Edelweiss-esque.
That's the same owner.
Edelweiss,
It'll
what?
be kind of in the same vein as Edelweiss was in
Oh.
Timerson. It's gonna be
It's Edelweiss. The
Edelweiss.
W is pronounced as a V in German.
I'm sorry, I'm
Edelweiss.
I'm just a kid from Idlewood. And, I'm lucky I learned all my vowels. And Tony, I wanted to say to you, Mr. Mills, you helped. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the day I ran into Jason and he was asking for some help and you responded immediately. That type of customer service means something, and I
Appreciate it.
really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Good time.
Say it a little loud. That's it.
Thank you.
You gonna let him stay the next week?
Let's talk good time. That's all right.
Yeah.
Go to-
Zach.
I forgot, we just gave one.
We've got one item for you guys tonight. My clicker isn't working. Thanks. So this is a PUD called Cypress Creek Cove. So it's a planned unit development consisting of 102 single-family residential lots, 3 open space lots on 40.5 acres at 4500 Cypress Creek Avenue East. And this was annexed into the city recently. You guys had just annexed this into the city so that you could then hear the PUD. So here's the location. This one is just, I'll go to the aerial, it's a little bit easier. The DMV, the State Trooper's Office, is catty corner to this on the northeast side. Skyline obviously is right there. So just to kind of get your bearings, it's a pretty large, mostly vacant lot. There's a house or two on the property right now. There's a lot of kind of wetlands area on there as well. So the PUD allows them to kind of retain some of that and work the open space a little bit. And as you'll see here in a second. So 102 single family lots, 1 to 2 stories ranging from 1,300 to 2,500 square feet. They have stated that the price is about 200 to 300. And then some, just some of those hardy board siding, shingles. So here's the overall property, so you can see kind of the the issues that they have where they can't build, so they're going a little bit denser in other areas to accommodate that. On the north side, you can see they're gonna utilize that kind of green space and that little pond there as like a walking trail and a gazebo and everything like that. And then down south, they've got that as well. So it does, here's some elevations of the homes. And then, playground they're gonna have there. So it does not conform to framework. Framework identifies this as multifamily residential, just because around that area there is multifamily residential primarily. However, this is pretty consistent with that type of development in that area, the density, and just allows for a different product type.
Right.
And that's all I've got. If y'all have any questions, I can answer them.
Any questions for Zach?
No questions.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you in advance for your vote.
Absolutely.
Thank you in advance for your vote, sir. Appreciate it.
Everybody?
Yes, sir. A couple of things. First, I know that we're about to begin Holidays on the River in earnest, and many of you have seen it come together at Government Plaza. I just want to thank our Arts and Entertainment Department and the other departments of the city that put that together. That's something that's solely operated by the city of Tuscaloosa and funded by the city council that this entire community enjoys. It's something that certainly you do not have to do as a council to fund. And our team members who work extremely hard to keep that thing going, and it takes a lot of manpower and hours over the next few weeks. And so I wanted to thank you for your support of it, and thank our team members who will be giving a lot of their holiday time to do something that's good for not just the city of Tuscaloosa, but Northport County and the entire community. So I wanted to thank them. Second is that I texted y'all earlier, I'll have to step out during public projects for a conference call. And it may be during the time of Ms. Day's presentation on the amphitheater 10-year plan. If I am absent during that, I just wanted you to know that I am in full support of Ms. Day's vision and where she wants to take our amphitheater over the next 10 years. The rebranding of the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater is just the first step in multiple layers that I think can continue to make this a premier venue. I look forward to her presentation. And then hopefully, if that's something you find as an acceptable vision and direction, working with you and beginning the implementation itself. But I just didn't want my absence to be a signal of you thinking it wasn't something that I support, and certainly that we as a team here don't support, because we absolutely do. Other than that, I don't have anything else but to say happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm looking forward to spending some time with my family. Every Thanksgiving, my mom drags out an article from when I was in first grade. I'm in my Pilgrim's my little Pilgrim's uniform, and the quote under Walt Maddox says, "The Pilgrims came over in the cauliflower." And it wasn't the first mistake I made in my public, service career. And certainly
There wasn't even an internet, but it's still there.
It's still there, and so I'm sure there'll probably be some social media traffic on it later about how I misrepresented the Pilgrims of the United States. But my mom tells that with much glee, and so
We all remember studying that cauliflower combat.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. Hey, I grew up in a good home where you had vegetables, and so. But those are the memories that last you a lifetime, and that's why Thanksgiving is one of my favorites, because I feel blessed beyond measure, more than I deserved, and in the end, family's everything, and so I know all of you feel the same. So happy Thanksgiving to each and every one.
Thank you. Same to you, and I also at this time would like to remember, that's it's my favorite holiday too. Because we don't get dressed up in my house, we just have great food, and everybody it's just a very relaxed day. But so many people out there have nobody, and I want to thank Chuck's Fish and remind Chuck's still you get free Thanksgiving meal, whether you're a Rockefeller or you're struggling to buy a quart of milk. They've got, and you can dine in or carry out still, because since the COVID it was just carry out. Now dine in is back. Also want to that's Chuck's, and then the Metro Diner actually in Midtown in Greater Alberta. They,
Most aggressive annexation plan in
I'm
history.
telling you,
you know
man.
what? I've learned from the best.
Yeah.
But they're doing a very special Thanksgiving meals too. They've joined in and they're actually going to open 4 hours for people who want to eat at the diner, or you can. They've got 2 different menus, and so I just love these businesses like that are that's truly giving back, and the employees are giving their time too to work that day. So Chuck's has been doing it for years. Metro Diner's another one that's joined in this time, and as well as the Community Soup Bowl, of course, and Salvation Army. And last I talked to them yesterday, I think they said they've got as many volunteers as they need, but there's usually always extra hands are needed times like this. They are taking reservations to help at Salvation Army and Soup Bowl on Christmas and New Year's right now, if anybody's interested. And let me invite everybody out the day after Thanksgiving to come out to Alberta. We're going to do, it's not a Christmas tree lighting, it's a Christmas tree plug-in to start the singing Christmas tree. And it's going to be from 5:30 to 6:30 Friday. Kay and Nicole have done a great job putting this together. Domino's is giving free pizza. Coca-Cola is giving free drinks. We'll have all the cartoon characters and elves and all that good stuff. And
What are you gonna be dressed as?
Wimpy. And so I'm gonna be dressed like Kip Time. But I don't think Santa's gonna be there. But no, if we had a great turnout last year, there's a few little Christmas caroling and stuff, but it's just really special. That is a 21-foot tree, and you know it's Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Google those people. But all Christmas music from the very best singers out there, and you know, that just plays, and it's just a great thing for the entire community. But I remind everyone is last year we had more people come from outside Alberta than actually live there, so it's for the entire city. But 5:30 Friday night, and the weather I think is supposed to be really good. So anyway, that's my district funds, by the way. So make that very clear. Didn't that go through general fund or? All right, Mr. Meggs.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So this is obviously not an announcement we like to make. We take a lot of pride in our recycling operations, but this is something that's come to the forefront. Some are having a battle. So to give you a little background, of course, everybody can see, beginning November 27th, we will no longer be accepting plastic films. Some examples are below: grocery bags, bread bags, Ziploc bags, dry cleaning bags, and things like that. But to give you a little background on how we got here, 2018, some regulations went into effect that banned certain materials that we send to China overseas. So that put a hardship on moving this particular item right here. Over the years we've battled, we've stockpiled it, sent what we could, bailed what we could, but it's increasingly becoming an issue of moving it out of our plant. So a couple of weeks ago, John and myself met with our broker, and he said it's a dried up market. There's nowhere to move it. They can't get rid of it. So we've reached out to many municipalities, all municipalities surrounding ours. We are actually the last one that still accepts it. I reached out to the UA, which is a recycling partner of ours. They no longer accept it. So we have to stop taking it. So
Just goes in the garbage now, right?
So yeah, there's a couple of options they can do. Just before we get to that, there will be a grace period for those of our customers that don't follow us on social media or watch this. We'll have approximately a 2-week grace period where we will pick them up, and we'll leave notes in their bins just stating what's happening and giving them an opportunity to adjust to it. But there are certain retailers around town that still take them. They're major retailers. I have had conversations with them also, and they're phasing out as well. So it's just becoming it's hard to move it. It's just, the market's dried up on it. So I wanted to answer any questions you may have, or I know y'all will get calls and emails just like we will.
Already have.
Yeah, that's right. We've already dealt with some from yours. So we wanted to release it this way. We hate it just as much as everybody else. Some things they can do to help us and help our environment would be use reusable grocery bags. Don't use the plastic film bags, and try to minimize the rest of the stuff on the list there. But the main thing that we'll probably see an effect on is grocery bags, and that's easily combated if we just use reusable bags. So. Any questions?
You just give me your cell number, is that?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
We
of
will
course,
be leaving a grace period and putting reminders in and try to ease into this as much as possible. As Mr. Begg says, none of us, especially, our team, none of us see this as a good thing, but
Yeah,
at
it's
this
not.
point, it's where we are.
Yeah.
Maybe the market will return at some point,
Sure.
and then we will get back to that.
one thing about Tuscaloosa though is we held on longer than anybody. I mean, we reached out to all major municipalities around us and did our research online, and we reached out to them by phone, and we are the last ones of our research who all we contacted that accepted plastic film. So we held on for a long time, but there's just, we can't continue to stockpile it and then move it when we can. That creates issues for our operations and rodent issues, and we definitely can't have that, especially in a recycling plant. So we've moved all we can move, and that's just where we're at.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank y'all.
Anybody else, if they have any questions, you can contact Chris. Tom, before I go to you, I do, because I'm not sure what time the mayor may have to step out, but Norman and I want to give the council a brief, at least for me, I'm going to try to be brief, about the library meeting that we had Friday, with the press release that came out from the library, and of course, we all got our share of unhappy people coming at us about, as they were saying, lack of funding and support. The meeting was Judge Robertson and Stan Acker came from the county, Glenda and Webb and Christy Bobo came from Northport, me and Norman from the city, and it was extremely contentious. It started out just all the reasons why it started out just a long PowerPoint. No one was in the mood for PowerPoints. Everybody was angry in a way, and I told Brian Winter, I said, the emotions are just too raw right now, because a press release was sent out basically pitting, my opinion, pitting funding partners against each other, and in my opinion, not being truthful. And the transparency of the raises and so many other things. I mean, the Brown Library was going to close a long time ago, but if you read the press release, it was like just simply because there wasn't enough money there. But the fact of it is, nobody was going there. So there were a lot of things concerning. Let me just say, it just fell apart. And then Ms. Webb and she said, I agree with Mr. Tyner. It's just too soon. And but the one thing that came out of it was wanting to keep the online. I think Judge Robertson, Norman did a great job, and Glenda and Stan about we cannot lose online services, and you can't tell us that there's not money to keep that going. Go ahead.
Yes. No, it was I thought it was a good meeting. I think that the beginning of the meeting was, we talked a little bit about why we were where we're at, and I think that going to the press to discuss this before they came to the council or here in Northport or the county, I do believe was a mistake. Because I don't think it's accurate to say that we had all been warned that they were going to cut stuff, because no one knew what their budgets were gonna be, no one knew what the funding partners were gonna be when we actually met with them this summer. I do think it was a very positive meeting in that we all care deeply about the library. All three, Carl Wiggins was also there.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
Carl was
but we all care deeply about the library. I don't think there's any issue about that. And I do believe that all the governmental bodies want to work with them to figure out what is the best path forward to fund the library in a way that'll meet the needs of all of our constituents and all of the citizens of Tuscaloosa County, because this is not a city of Tuscaloosa library. This is not a city of Northport library. This is not a Tuscaloosa County library. This is all of our library. All three of us together. That was the way it was set up. So I think that we've got to figure out as funding bodies what that looks like. But I mean, we expect the library to have a plan to tell us this is what we think will meet the needs of our citizens, and then we have our input in on that. I do think that coming out of that meeting, I mean, one of the things that I said was, we are in the second month of a 12-month budget. And in my opinion, I don't believe that we need to be cutting anything yet until we have adequate time to look at what they're doing and try to make a decision on what needs to be done about part of this long term. Because, I mean, the county's passed a budget, we've passed a budget, Northport's passed a budget. So I think we made it pretty clear to them that the online book portal and all of that needed to stay in place. And my understanding is the board met yesterday and they're going to vote on something in December about that. So I would encourage all of y'all to reach out to, I think our two appointees to the board are supportive of keeping the online book portal on, because I do believe there's enough money. The library has enough money to keep that on. And I think the board voted, according to a text I got from a board member, the board voted in October to cut that in December, whatever date that was in December. They were not going to renew the online books, and I hope that they will reconsider as a board that we need to continue doing that. And this task force will meet, and I don't know the details of that, but I think the way it was discussed is there would be maybe a representative from the city, and we would ask Carly's team, somebody to represent us in those discussions, because I do believe we've got to look at how a library should look going forward, working with the board, what needs to be funded. I do think we had a good discussion, y'all, about cost. And one of the biggest things that I mean, when I got into council, one of the biggest things about Para, I hate to use Para as an example, but you couldn't get accurate cost information from Para, and they implemented a system that allows you to have a P&L, that allows you to say, if you want to do blank, here's what it costs. I think we need the same thing with the library, or maybe a refinement of that, to say, if the city of Tuscaloosa deems that we want this is what it's going to cost us.
Norman, can I also add, before you leave Para, they also developed the habit of speaking with one voice, and that's the voice authorized by their board. And I appreciate Tony Johnson and Brian Davis, because that's how we fund. We give a check to an agency, and that agency has a board and operational decisions to make. And I hope.
And that was discussed because
That's a very good point, Councilman Buzzard.
Because that's what's happening right now. Their board is split within themselves because
That's an internal issue.
that's right, and they've got somebody that's speaking especially stronger than the others that they say. Some board members say they're not authorized to, because only the board can authorize it. So the board has got a lot of work to do themselves. But in the end, after the lots of tit for tats, and in the end, it was said, there's too many questions out there. We'd like to know, with the jobs that were not filled, where that money's gone. There was a lot of money three of them had, three employees were making together close to 300,000 or so. So where did that money go? There's just a lot of questions, and I also made it our disappointment, and I think was the fact of, yes, we gave great raises to our employees, but we could afford it. And my deal was, what if we had given the employees raises and then the next day say, but you're only gonna get garbage pickup now once every 3 weeks, or started cutting services. And that was something that the library, was, to me, was not transparent about. They didn't even say they had given the same raises. They said, we wanted to keep up with the city. Well, that's not really a great reason to me to give those types of raises if you don't have the funds, if you say you don't have the funds for it. So in the end, as Norman said, did speak to Mr. Councilor Busby, because they were looking at trying to get the 3 finance chairs of Northport, Tuscaloosa, and the county together. But not right now, because everybody left there saying it's too soon. We've all felt like we just don't appreciate how it was done through the press release.
And if I can touch on the pay increases for our non-public safety departments, in their budget submittals to me that were ultimately passed along to you, we did include the raises, but they had to submit a budget levelized from the prior year. So excluding fire and police,
Yeah.
those are different, and different departments with different needs. But I do want to stress that we did it within our existing departments without cutting services within those departments. So, and that's a testament to the great work of our A&F and our departments.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to put that in.
President Tyler, I'm sorry I'm rambling. I just want to say one other thing. This city council and this mayor and this administration supports the library. We care about the library. We took a stand to say we were going to make sure that the Weaver Bolden branch was funded in a manner that would keep them whole on all of that. We all voted to give them, I believe, over $300,000
Yes, sir.
to balance that.
Yeah,
So
we did.
when a conversation is had that we have level funded the library, I take offense to that because that is not true
Mhm.
and it's not accurate. And I think that this council and mayor and administration will do what's right by the library when we actually know what the numbers need to be, what our citizens want, and what this looks like going forward. And I think that's the discussion, Mr. Tyner, that has to be when this cooling off period comes with
Yeah.
this task force, with what we need to do this, what does this look like? And then we kind of see where we are, because that's, I just think the way that this has been handled is unfortunate, because I don't think we were given time to react, to sit and talk about all this, and to not beat, I'm good at beating the horse when it's dead and past, when it's already,
And for
it's already dead and been dead for a while. But I do think that's not fair to the council, but you know what? We gotta look forward. What's happened has happened.
That's right.
And I think the good thing was in that meeting, everybody that was in that meeting was supportive of the library, or we wouldn't have been there. And I think we left the meeting saying we wanted to try to work together, the three bodies, to solve this problem.
Kind of like
And
starting from
I
ground.
think we will, and I want the citizens
Yeah.
to hear that.
It's kind of like,
Whoever's listening.
it's kind of like starting from ground zero. Got to kind of start all over like we did, like Para. I think everyone agrees that things are going really well with Para now, and the fact that I personally sent Jennifer 3 different dates and days to meet, Norman and I could meet together. So, because there were some things that we couldn't all get together. Well, there's no more than I could have done and Norman could have done to have met with them, only to have that press release the very next day.
We all have a full-time, part-time job.
So,
And Mr. Turner, along with that,
There are other conflicts that happen.
although you all have met with the library board, and many of us had emails, and I want to say that the mayor did an excellent job of communicating information to people who emailed and felt that we were not supporting the library. That was clearly articulated in the email, and I do share the sentiments, Mr. Councilor Crowe, that we all love and are passionate about our library.
and I think it was good. Like I said, it started not so good, and it ended, everybody kind of cooled down, and they're, and then realized that I want to say the library board, they're all volunteers, and they are very passionate in different ways about the library. So even amongst their own boards, they've got their problems to work out, but I do understand that there's something on the table to keep the online going, that will come for a vote next month.
Will it come in time so that the services won't be discontinued?
What we hope.
But I already know there's opposition to that, so among the board. So, but I believe there will be enough votes. I don't know how their votes work, but if there's a majority, I think there are enough that majority would rule on uninterrupted services. But there were some solutions I thought offered yesterday that some didn't like on the board. So, it's, I don't know. But I think, one thing, we were all there and it was packed, and then in the end, everyone realized that we do want to come back together, but not right now. And give them a month or two to.
But we'll figure it out.
Well, yeah. So, anyway, if anybody else has any other questions about what happened or what was
Yeah,
said?
any other comments or questions, y'all, we'll try to answer them.
All righty. Tom.
Good afternoon. And happy Thanksgiving. Tonight we have a fairly lengthy agenda, and the lengthy agenda award today goes to construction ground finance.
Thank you very much.
All I can say about that is.
Tom, before you pick up your stride, I have a question on consent agenda. What is item D? Awarding competitive bid for purchase of a full-size SUV to Hendrick Chevrolet for $76,000.
Police vehicle.
Who's, huh?
Police vehicle.
Have we already approved that?
Yes, sir, all purchasing resolutions of that nature are already budgeted for, and approved
So,
on an individual basis.
so a question, please. So this is approving, not awarding to the lowest bidder, not the purchase of the truck or the SUV.
Yes, it's awarding it to the to the vendor. It's not awarding the actual budget line
It's not
item for
approving
it.
the purchase because that's already been done?
Correct. I mean, so in what you're saying, that is correct. The council has already approved that the expenditure can happen. What that resolution is saying is that we can do that expenditure with that vendor.
Why? I mean, why are we not giving it to the lowest bidder?
That's probably off of a co-op contract with the state.
What?
That's, if I had to guess, that's probably off of a cooperative agreement with the
It's
state.
extremely hard.
We have the man, we don't have to
It's
guess.
extremely hard for us to find vehicles right now.
Uh-huh.
Like Tuscaloosa, or not Tuscaloosa, sorry, Chevy just canceled a lot of our Tahoes, so now we're looking at Durangos. We're having to get vehicles when we can get them. So the money's already been approved for it, but we're trying to get vehicles when we can find them and that kind of stuff. The vehicle market right now is extremely tough.
So the lowest bidder couldn't provide the vehicle?
I know we found the vehicle and we're going after it, I know that.
So purchasing division is under accounting and finance. And I can tell you that, especially with police vehicles, we do not operate on a push-out RFP bidding process. We will do it through cooperative agreements and state bid contracts that we currently have in place. And one of those vehicles is probably listed on one of our state cooperative contracts.
Okay, thank you.
All right, skipping over what Mr. Williams, Mr. Mills, and Mr. Pons have previously covered, we will move to item 8 on your agenda, paragraph 8, which is resolutions and ordinances not of a general nature, permanent operation, and pick up on page 20, which authorizes an amphitheater naming rights sponsorship contract with Mercedes-Benz. That comes from Arts and Entertainment.
And Mayor, I saw your note and the OCA's note. I sent a request. I'd like to see that agreement. Y'all could provide me a copy.
I have anything that you need on it.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, thank you, sir. Page 21, you'll be authorizing execution of an agreement with the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs for the program year 2023 Emergency Solutions Grant Program. You'll hear about that at Community Development this afternoon. Pages 22 to 23, tentatively awarding a public works contract with Inliner Solutions LLC for Phase 2 of the 2023 CMP lining project for a total of $273,710. You heard about that project last week. Page 24, authorizing professional engineering services contract with Gardner and Associates Engineering, totaling not to exceed amount of $683,500. That was heard at projects last week as well. Page 25 and 26, tentatively awarding a public works contract to Taylor Electrical Contractors for University Boulevard East Alberta Bridge Lighting Project for a total of $584,992. That was heard at projects last week. Page 27, authorizing a minor public works contract with Olympia Sprinkler Installation for a total of $7,330. That was at projects last week. Page 28, authorizing a minor public works contract with Southern Heating and Cooling LLC for a replacement heat pump at the Hillard Fletcher wastewater facility, total of $8,475. That was heard at projects last week. Page 29, authorizing a minor public works contract with Southern Heating and Cooling LLC for installation of a hot water pump at TPD for a total of $2,175. That was heard at projects last week. Page 30, authorizing a minor public works contract with Chip Griffith Construction for $3,800. That was heard at projects last week. Page 31, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed electrical services with Taylor Electric, not to exceed $12,000. That was likewise heard at projects last week. Page 32, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed services with Hughes and Melanex, not to exceed $30,000. That was also last week on projects. Page 33, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed carpentry and painting services with JT Contracting LLC, not to exceed $15,000. That was also on projects last week. Page 34, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed carpentry and painting services with Paints on Us Plus, not to exceed $35,000. That was on projects last week. Page 35, authorizing minor public works contract for as-needed plumbing services with John Wayne Plumbing and Drain Service, not to exceed $50,000, also on projects last week. Page 36, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed electrical services with Premier Service Company, Inc., for a total not to exceed $12,000. That was also on projects last week. Page 37, authorizing a minor public works contract for as-needed pressure washing services with Ritchie Quality Cuts, not to exceed $24,000. And you also heard about that last week at projects. Page 38, 39, you'll be providing an informed consent regarding representation pursuant to Rule 1.7, the Rules of Professional Conduct of the Alabama State Bar. That comes from our office.
So I have a question here. Ms. Standridge, did we engage bond counsel for the bank loan on
Yes, sir.
the
As
fire
required by city code.
Okay, and so, but it's still just a loan, right? We're not,
It's
we
ju-
didn't issue.
Yes, the structure is as we described it during all finance committee presentations. It's a line of credit draw period and then a 3-year term loan. But city code and all debt issuances require us to engage our bond attorney and to do a full warrant issuance ordinance.
Is that above some prescribed amount?
No, sir, that's for any debt issuance.
Any debt issuance?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Page 40, you'll be authorizing disbursement from District 4 Improvement Funds for Campus Veteran Association Iron Ruck Event, $700. That was heard at Finance last week. Page 41 to 46, you'll be establishing the legislative agenda of the City of Tuscaloosa for the 2024 session of the Alabama General Legislative Session. That comes from the City Council. Page 47 and 48, you'll be authorizing Amendment 2 for the fiscal year 2024 Water and Sewer Reserve Future Improvements Fund budget. That comes from A&F. Page 49, you'll be approving the job class specifications for park rangers. You heard about that at admin last week. On paragraph 9, ordinances and resolutions of a general nature of permanent operation. Page 50, you'll be authorizing Amendment 2 to the fiscal year 2024 general fund budget. That comes from A&F. Page 51, you'll be authorizing Amendment 3 to the 2024 elevated Tuscaloosa fund budget. That likewise comes from A&F. Page 52, you'll be amending Exhibits A and B of Section 19-42 and 19-68 of the Code of Tuscaloosa for the park ranger position that we previously discussed. That was approved at admin and policy last week. Page 53 to 73, you'll be authorizing the issuance, execution, sale, and delivery of $4 million maximum principal amount general obligation warrant of the city of Tuscaloosa and the payment. That comes to you from A&F. Page 74, you'll be reappointing members to the Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. That comes from the clerk's office. As of now, I do not know of any suspended rules nor executive sessions. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Tom?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, buddy. All right, we got projects 230, finance 315, admin 4, community development 5, full day. Council meeting at 6. Remember, Thursday and Friday, City Hall will be closed in observance of Thanksgiving holiday. No council or committee meetings next Tuesday. ZBA will meet on a special day on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. Any other comments from anyone? Okay, all right, is there here a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, second adjourn, all in favor